I'm really excited for this tutorial because I'm going to teach you a new lighting technique that you can do at home. And this works best if you do have two lights, but I'll show you what it looks like with one light. So the technique is called backlighting, and we're going to be taking these two photos. So one is going to be just the product and the scene, and the second photo is going to be with my hand, so using a hand model, which comes with some techniques as well. So let's get into it. So starting with the setup, I am using a Club Backdrops backdrop, and this is more of a bathroom scene. Now the bottom is a board. I will link all this below as well, but you can use whatever backdrops you have or whatever vibes you're going for. And then there's a product here. It's a deodorant. And then some props that tell the story of, you know, being in the bathroom, if that makes sense. So the props are relevant to the scene and the story that I'm trying to convey. Now here I got a little creative. So this is simply a dish bowl that I got from my kitchen, and it kind of mimics or resembles a sink. Now here I have the SL60W, and I have it on the back because we are doing backlighting. Now, when it comes to the backdrop, it does not have to be this large backdrop. There are options to buy smaller backdrops, and a lot of the times I wish that I would have gotten the smaller ones. This depends on how large your scene is. But in this case, you just have to be careful with where you position the light, because you don't want the backdrop to block the light and create more shadows. So this is what I mean. If I go back, you'll see that there's a shadow created there now, and the light is kind of blocked by the backdrop. So you have to find a position where there is absolutely no shadow created from the backdrop. So going a little bit more forward, but you can tell here that it is creating a shadow in the front, and that is where the backlighting techniques comes into play. Usually we have the lighting coming from this way, right? But sometimes you can do a bit more of a creative setup. So I'm going to show you a few different ways that you can shoot this. Now we have one light here. So let's try to see what it would look like with one light. And I may add a foam board when using only one light. So I'm going to turn off this other light that I have here. And that is also a technique, the backlighting, where it's a little bit more shadowy on the front and the light's coming from the back. That is a lighting technique. You just have to be careful to you just have to decide how dark or bright you want the front side. So let me see. Okay. So I'm going to record what I'm seeing here so that you can see. So the audio is going to change a little bit right now because I have to stop recording my audio. Okay, so I'm going to go to photo, and I'm just going to go to 2. I'm going to zoom it to 2, which kind of gives you a portrait mode. And I'm going to shoot in raw format, which makes it better for editing. So I'm going to go down to like a eye level, and I'm going to shoot that photo. So I'm going to take a few. So you can kind of see how it does create a shadow on the front. Now, if you want a little bit more light, which I sometimes do recommend, especially with backlighting, just to make sure that the front of the product is well shown. But if you want to still have that, that backlighting look, then I'm gonna take that photo and I'm gonna show you. I think I like that better. Okay, so that's 2. And the third option, if you do have a second light, is to have another SL60W. In this case, this is the SL150W, just because that's the one that I have here. But you can use another SL60W. And as you can see, I do have softbox on, because when I'm doing backlighting, I want to make sure that the front light does not overpower the backlight. So I'm gonna go a little further back, and I'll show you here. So you can see here that this light is a little further back, making sure that it does not overpower that one. Okay. All right, so here are the 3 photos. I'm gonna go ahead and edit each one. So you can skip to the one that you want, but I'm gonna go ahead and start with the very first one that I took, which is a little darker in the front. So I'm gonna go ahead and crop it. And what I'm gonna do, sorry if you hear my dog barking, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna edit just one photo, and then I might just kind of copy and paste the settings and adjust accordingly. So I'm going to crop the photo first. Then I'm gonna click on auto geometry just to make sure that it fixes any distortion. And then press the light. Then I'm going to increase exposure on the light. Bring highlights down, shadows up. I'm gonna lift the shadows. Again, just because having just one light, it does create more shadows on the front side, which is fine. That's the look that we're going for. But again, it's just to kind of lit up that product. And this will depend on what you're looking for. I'm gonna bring the blacks down, which honestly, this is not gonna make a big difference. So I'm just gonna leave it as is. One thing that's important is I'm gonna go to color and I'm going to adjust the temperature. Right now, it's a little bit on the yellow side, and I want it to be a little bit cooler so that I can bring out that blue on that backdrop. So on temperature, I'm gonna toggle to the left. So as you can see there, it brought that blue out. From here, I'm just gonna increase vibrance just to bring some colors out. Then I'm gonna go to detail. I'm going to increase sharpening, so toggle to the right. And under noise, I'm gonna toggle to the right because noise will, it will remove any like noise or grain, and it smoothens the photo as well. That's before, and that's after. So this is only with one light, no foam board, okay? Now to fix these little things right here, I personally like to use Retouch app because it's so much faster to remove things, but you can also do it here by clicking the little eraser tool and then making sure that it says remove, and then zoom in and just kind of circle around that area, or kind of paint that area, and it will fix those little wrinkles. So you can go in and just fix all those little wrinkles. Press OK. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to the 3 little dots here, click on copy settings, select all, and then check, and that has copied these settings. So now I'm gonna go to the other photo. So let's see, this one right here is using the foam board, same setup with the foam board, and I'm just going to go to the little dots and I'm gonna paste settings, and that did pretty good. I'm just going to adjust the crop a little bit because I did take each photo in a different angle. Okay, so that's that one. And then I'm gonna save this photo. And then I'm gonna go to the last one, which is with 2 lights. And I'm gonna paste the settings as well. And this might be a little too bright because there are 2 lights. So I'm gonna go to my light and adjust my lighting, but just bring that down a little bit. And that's good. All right, so now you can see the difference between all of the different lightings. And personally, I think I prefer the second one where it's one light and the foam board. But you tell me in the comments which one you like best. Now I'm gonna move on to another cool little thing that you can do whenever you're shooting multiple photos, or maybe you are batch creating, is when you have a photo like this, you can also do a hand model. So here is where you will need a little trigger, or maybe someone can help you take the photo. This trigger comes with a lot of the tripods that you can buy for iPhones on Amazon, so they already come with it, and you can connect this to your phone via Bluetooth. So in your settings, all you do is like when you turn it on, you turn this little thing on, and then you go to settings, go to Bluetooth, and it's probably already gonna connect it. It's the shutter. And now all I have to do, same setup. And again, I'm going to use photo, and I'm gonna go to 2x, and then make sure that you're shooting in raw format. Or you can, if you don't have a trigger, you can set your camera to a timer, but this just helps a lot. So I'm going to make sure that it is at a good angle. That's why the grid the grids on your phone, it's so important to have them on because it helps you take a straighter photo. So now I try to align my grid lines to the lines of the backdrop to help take a straight photo. Okay, so I'm all set there, and all I have to do is just kind of, you know, with my trigger, and then that photo is taken. And I'll just edit that photo the same way that I edited all the other photos as well.